Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from Eduard. It's a set in a weekend edition wine. It comes in 148 scale and it copies BF 109E-7. So it's a World War II German fighter, and you can see it on this beautiful box art. And we have a commercial sample here, so it means you will get exactly the same stuff as what you'll see in this video review. So it will be interesting to see what is actually supplied in this nice box and why it should be an interesting build for modelers who would like to build a copy of this legendary, let's say, German aircraft. So first of all, I have to say that box size is standard for such kits from Eduard. Here you can see comparison with my hand. As I said before, box art is really beautiful, and I think you can get it as a separate poster on the official website. Next, on the side we have some safety information and also address of the manufacturer in case you would like to visit them. That's where you should go. And by the way, kit number is 84178. On the opposite side you'll find 4 marking options, and they're quite colorful, to be honest, so this is something to be, let's say, stumbled upon, and maybe you will have to have some time in order to choose what you would like to copy in your build, but this is definitely a nice pick, and we will talk about it later when we will be checking the assembly manual. Here inside it's a top opening box, and all frames are packed into this one plastic bag. It's a resealable plastic bag, and we have assembly manual on the bottom, but we will talk about it later, just like in any other previous video review. In case you haven't seen any of them, that's our traditional, let's say, structure of the video. So now I'm opening this plastic bag, and I have to say that this E version of the BF 109 from Eduard is quite well known kit. It's not completely new, let's say, because it was on the market for some time, so that's why maybe some of you already had a chance to encounter this kit, but it's still quite nice. And here we start with a clear frame, so it was packed, oops, some dust falling down. So, as I said, this clear sprue was packed into the separate plastic bag, that's why it looks quite nice and it's not damaged. Of course, you can copy the open canopy with these parts, you won't have to modify anything, you just use the standard elements and you'll be good to go. But remember that this is a weekend edition, so that's why we do not have any masks included, and you have to get them as a separate aftermarket set from Eduard. Next we start with the gray plastic parts. So here is the wing part sprue, and you can see that overall design is quite standard for such element on the aircraft kit. And we have two top halves, one bottom. Whole wing mechanization parts are separate, even the front wing parts, as you can see here. And here inside we have some minor, I would say, guiding elements which will help you with overall alignment, so it will be quite easy to get these parts together. Next we continue with the second gray plastic sprue. Here we have to zoom out a bit because it barely fits into the frame, but here we have 2 fuselage halves. Both are molded together with the tail fins, but note that co-link is molded separately as a one-piece part, which is really cool because you won't have any seams in this area, and I really like this feature. I'm not sure why they actually decided to, let's say, remove it in the G version, because it would be also quite a nice thing to have. It will help you to avoid any unnecessary seams. As for the external features, we have recessed panel lines and rivets. Here you can take a closer look. Everything looks quite nice for this scale, so it's just a matter of careful painting and weathering. And here you can check the interior of these parts. We have some minor cockpit features, but there will be more. And of course you can also get a separately sold PE set, which will give you even better details in addition to what you get in a standard plastic kit. So here we continue with the third plastic sprue. This one surprises with engine parts. So yes, E version of the BF 109 actually features the engine halves, and you can actually assemble the aircraft with the exposed engine. That's a really interesting change, let's say, from BF 109G. And if we zoom in here, you can take a closer look at one-piece pilot cockpit floor. Here we continue with instrument panel, rear walls. Here we have fuel tank. Here is the engine. Also we have the engine struts. Next we continue with pilot seat, another half of the fuel tank, and also propeller hubs, one-piece propeller, and some parts for the cockpit. So everything looks cool, and just to remind you again, this is a weekend edition, so we do not get any PE parts inside. That's why you will have to let's say play with what you get in the plastic, or you will have to spend extra money on the PE parts. Next we continue with the last gray plastic sprue. So this one dedicated to a mix of various elements, because for example here we have ailerons, we also have wing slats here, we have landing gear covers, tail wings which are molded together with elevators, separate rudder, also some parts for I would say landing gear. And I'm trying to, let's say, remember whether we have a resin upgrade for this. I guess there will be some information in the assembly manual. Here you can take a closer look from the opposite side while I'm removing the various bonuses. And to my surprise, we have a PE fret here. It is unpainted PE fret, and it will be handy for some minor upgrades on this model. So here you can see it. I'm not sure where these meshes will go. I guess on some air intake, so we will have to check the assembly manual in order to understand. And another thing is 2 decal sheets which are supplied in the separate plastic bag. So just give me a second to open them, and we will talk about them in a second. Okay, so both are printed in Eduard, and the biggest one carries all necessary symbols for marking options. I can see that we even have some cockpit decals. So let's close the lenses a bit, zoom in, and now you can see that here we have parts for the instrument panel, here we have seat belts. So it's, I would say, more than enough for out-of-the-box build. Again, I remind you that you can replace it with PE parts if you are eager to spend more, so it's up to you. And there is also another decal sheet for stencils. So here it is. Stencils are not that big. Here you can see comparison with my fingertip, but still in 1/48 scale they will be noticeable, so do not be lazy, apply them all, and you will see that your model will benefit from such addition. Next we continue with assembly manual, so let's zoom out a bit. It's a large color printed brochure. We have short history note on the first page or on the cover. Next we continue with the parts map, and assembly process starts with cockpit parts. So as you can see, a lot of things to install. As I said, cockpit should be detailed even in the plastic only version. Next, you have to decide whether you would like to have an engine inside or you would like to assemble your aircraft with a closed cowling. As you can see, there is a version for the open nose. So it's up to you, but you have to think in advance. Next, we continue with wings assembly. So you also have to drill some holes in case you choose the marking A. And we proceed with tail fairings. Here we assemble the fuel tank and landing gear legs. Then we install the cowling into the place and some canopy parts and propeller. Here we continue with the special railings for the bombs. That's why we need PE parts, and this square will actually serve as a template for the bombs. Next we continue with version with a closed engine compartment. As you can see, it will be completely hidden under the cowling, and that's pretty much all. Next we have 2 marking options, one from June 1942, another one from June 1941. 2 more coming from summer 1941 and another one from April 1942. Of course, all of them, as far as I saw, no, this one has only the lower part of the cowling, but they come in the yellow color. And here we have a stenciling guide. So again, I will repeat that apply all these tiny writings because this is a really cool thing to have in a 1/48 scale. So set should be already available. You can get it on official Eduard website. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion here in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, share with your friends, or maybe even click this join button to support us with a small donation. And I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.